Hi everyone, Eric Campese here from Schroth DC. We just completed another intensive this week with Safia from California. She made this long journey and I just kind of wanted her to share her experience with you. And I guess my first question is what brought you out here? Why did you come all the way from California to the East Coast to hang out with us?
Oh my gosh. Well, I am so glad I did. First of all, I'll start with that.
Awesome.
I have had scoliosis, was diagnosed as a child. So I remember being 7 or 8 years old and my pediatrician told me I had scoliosis and it was just like, you have this and it's okay, nothing to do about it. And so I just never thought anything of it. Lived with it my whole life. I was a student athlete, college athlete, and then lived my 20s, was totally fine. And then in my 30s, I started to feel discomfort in my back that most recently turned into like a chronic pain and tightness. And it just got worse as I was working every day and just sitting at my desk, working at a computer, to the point that it would flare up so badly that I would need to lie down or would need to just stop doing, and it would bring tears to my eyes. And I think I resigned myself to like, oh, this is just normal for me. I just have to live with this pain. And so I started to get motivated about, I can't live this way. I'm only, in my mid 30s. This is terrible. I feel like I'm just like losing control of my mobility, my life. And so I just started going on a goose hunt. It felt like just meeting with different chiropractors, spine specialists, going from provider to provider, and a spine specialist at Stanford Hospital actually mentioned the Schroth method.
Okay.
And that's how I learned about it. And then I just started researching what the Schroth method was. And that's how I came across Schroth itself.
Okay.
And then for this program specifically, I was looking to do an intensive just because I do work full time. I work in tech, have a pretty demanding schedule. And so it's hard for me to maintain like a weekly or concurrent schedule of Schroth while working. And so I wanted to clear my schedule. I'm taking a break from work right now and wanted to do an intensive, and spent a few months just researching different programs. There was something in Canada I came across, in London, and then this one here in DC, and just reading about the program and all the reviews. And then I spoke with your wife actually on the phone, and it just seemed like
she's great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She convinced me to do this one. But I think it was really the flexibility of the intensive, and you really tailor it to each person and make it unique to them. And when I spoke to her on the phone, it just made it so easy to schedule. And she kind of described the different methodologies that you all use. And so it just felt like a no-brainer.
Awesome. And then what was like your expectations when you were kind of like, all right, I'm coming for this Schroth intensive. I don't really know much about it. Did you ever have any experience with Schroth prior to coming here? And then again, like what is your expectation when you have scoliosis, when you hear something like a Schroth method as a treatment option?
I was definitely nervous, to be honest, to begin with, because I have tried Schroth. I saw a local provider. I'm from the San Francisco Bay Area, and there's a couple practitioners that I found there, and I worked with one of them and just found that it was very rigid. So the provider I worked with had a very clear idea of, here's how I teach about Schroth, here's how I walk you through what your curve is, and then here are the exercises. And you need to make a lot of big lifestyle changes to your life. And so it was very rigid and felt like I was being lectured at. And I felt like I was living my life wrong while I was doing the program. So to be honest, I took a break. That was several months ago, and was like, I don't know if Schroth is for me. But then the pain was there and it was just getting really bad. And I'm at an age where I'm gonna hopefully have kids soon. And so I was just really motivated to not have this pain while raising children, because I'll be, carrying them and just dealing a lot, as you know, with your 3 little ones. And so I kind of went back that, okay, I'm sure not every provider is like this. Let me research what's out there. And so coming into this, I was a little bit nervous that all Schroth providers have that mentality. And it's very much like, here's Schroth, here's what you must change, here's how to do it. And so I was a little bit apprehensive, like coming in, but I was like, you know what, I think I just need to try it and take a leap of faith. And when I got here, it just completely exceeded my expectations or the idea that I had. Working with you just from the get-go, you were very it was just so dynamic. It was so easy to talk to you, connect with you. You really personalized the program to me. You would switch up the different methodologies, the different exercises. We would go in and out of Schroth and other practices, which I found really, really helpful. You filmed me as well so that I can go home and I remember exactly what I should be doing, how I should be correcting myself. So it was just really dynamic, really personalized, and just so different from what I experienced before.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I mean, and that's what we see a lot and hear a lot from our patients, is just trying to combine all these different things here. And not only just focus on the spine or the Cobb angles or this is someone who does have pretty severe scoliosis. And just like, how do you adapt this into your life? How do you integrate all these different types of exercises and in a way just live the life that you want to live? Just how do we sneak in some little cues just to kind of make you more efficient with some of your mobility? So we do get a lot of patients that are kind of considering Schroth, or like, hey, is it worth it to make this trip out here? They might be contemplating the same thing that you did, or even for some of our young gals, our teens and our guys and gals out there that are like, they just got diagnosed with scoliosis, or the families, it's like between the appointments, the bracing, all that. I mean, do you have any advice, recommendations to them, or even any like words of wisdom, guidance about the importance of exercise or the Schroth program, or anything that you can chime in about that?
Yeah, I think if I could go back in life and do Schroth even 10, 15, 20 years ago, I wish I had, just to even learn more about my spine and learn more about the Schroth method, just to get even an introduction to it. I think when you're so young and you're not experiencing pain, I can understand why you don't feel motivated. That was me my whole life until 36. Like, I spent 30 years not thinking about it. And it's just gotten to a point where it's very, very debilitating. So I would highly urge you to at least learn about it, understand what the Schroth method is, so that when you start to feel a little bit discomfort, if you ever do, you can catch it early and just start some of the breathing exercises or posture corrections. But I think it's just one of the best forms of preventative care that you can take when you're younger, because you don't want to end up the way I am, where it just gets like so debilitating. It's so frustrating, really hard. I sometimes I just lose a whole day because I'm in so much pain. So I really wish I did it when I was younger, or at least got introduced to it and learned more about my spine.
And I would say that the two things too that were pretty cool was we also did some other techniques that were able to eliminate some of the pain that you were getting in certain movements, and also coach you through different types of movements. And probably even more important, which I thought like was awesome and unique to you, where the light bulb kind of went off, is the relationship to pain. What we were kind of talking about in terms of your expertise and where you're going and your future education that you're kind of seeking. You were like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing all this stuff on a daily basis in terms of the mental component, the relationship to pain. How do you cope with pain? What's contributing to pain? How do you respond to pain? And you were like, oh my God, we're doing this stuff all the time. How I got to start applying this to like my own life. And I just thought that moment was really cool, because that's something that a lot of adults in your age range and older are having pain. But having a better understanding of what that is, and then the strategies, and to pause and to think and come up with a strategy of how you can get out of pain, because sometimes it could be very quickly, and sometimes it's just something as like a simple walk, or just changing your scenery, getting out in nature can be very powerful as well.
Yeah, I think that was really surprising to me, that how much mindfulness is a factor in the program that we did, and just changing your mindset or your relationship perception of pain, how powerful that by itself can be. So that actually went to your question earlier about what was my expectation. I didn't think that it was going to involve, I thought it was going to be traditional physical therapy or kind of doing exercises or movements, but a lot of it was mindfulness and mindset and perception, and that's just been so powerful.
Awesome. Well, she's got a plane she's got to catch. I feel like we can chat for hours, but thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I had a really great time working with you. We offer these intensives. We've been able to see people from New York, Florida, Ohio, Canada, California, St. Thomas, Abu Dhabi. We've treated people from Brazil. So feel free to reach out with us. Any questions? And thank you.
Thank you.